Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Sunday, bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. I want to get right into it. I got a lot to talk about, probably too much for one video. We'll just see how far we get. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I got some new subscribers this week. It's always a good thing to have some new people on the team. We're trying to get our shit together. We're trying to become stronger. We're trying to turn ourselves from weaklings into warriors. This is my study group for warriors. Let's just get right into it. I have quotes, thoughts, ideas that I've written down in my notes. I hope you guys are studying, taking notes on your study. So let's just get right into it. Some of this I'll dissect. Some of it I'll just read as quotes and you can think about it yourself. I thought this was a good quote. You can't find your conscience in a mob. Be careful with that groupthink. It'll take you right out of your place of virtue. You think that you're doing good and you're following the group, holding your sign, chanting your chants. Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Defund the police. Oh, you think you're doing such good. You're such a little activist, aren't you? Be careful about that mob mentality. Be careful how you react. Let everybody else react and you can just sit back. What do they say? Military guys know this. I had a military guy tell me one time that, let me get it right. He said that the first report from battle is always wrong. And you know, I had to think about that for a minute, but it's true. It's true. Because you're in this fucking mental state. You have to be careful of how you respond to what's going on around you. Let's go to the next one. Ask yourself this next time you drive by that cemetery. There's a cemetery that I go there for lunch maybe once in a while. The owner of the deli has health problems. And you got to drive all the way across town to go to this fucking place, and he'll have a sign on the door saying, sorry, health problems, can't make it. I feel bad for him. The place has been there for 35, 40 years. I'm not trying to victim shame a guy who's old and feeling bad, but man, you drive all the way across town, you want it to be open, and the eating area is out back, and they have picnic tables and shit, and it looks out to a cemetery. It's actually kind of nice. You can sit there and eat your sandwich. Which sandwiches are way too big. Oh my God, you gotta be careful. You don't ever order no large sandwich there, you never finish it. But ask yourself, who's the richest man in the graveyard? Just to put it in perspective, put your life in perspective. What are you living for? Are you living for money, for things, for stuff? That's your greatest goal? You're taking nothing with you. Living in moderation minimizes suffering. Be a simple man. Don't be so complex. Think simple thoughts. Dress simply. Live simply. Freedom is participation in power. You guys think freedom is just running off doing your own thing, never talking to nobody again? All I care about is me and mine? How many of you people out there say that? You don't even care about your neighbors. All you care about is you and your family in your fence. And you call that freedom. And you hide out in your little compound. Freedom is participation in power. It's not running from it or dissecting yourself from it. It's not separating yourself off and saying, well, I'm the king. How many kings are on your block? Everybody's a king? Let's go to the next one. This is kind of fitting. You've taken this boss mentality too far. A lot of you have. You have this idea that you're the boss, right? You're the king, right? You see this in the streets. You see this with gangs. You see this out in the mob world. Motherfuckers all think they're the fucking boss. Well, they think that when the boss ain't around. You gotta ask yourself this. Do you work for God, or does God work for you? Did you just turn yourself into God? God works for you. You're the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Supreme Being, the Master and the Ruler of the universe. You created it all. It's all you. There's a lot of guys out there that think that. I guarantee you there's a couple of guys sitting there thinking, damn right. This one's for you young guys who don't work. There's, for every one person who is seeking a job, who's on Indeed.com or Craigslist or whatever, looking at the job listings and going to interviews, for every one of those people who's doing the right thing, trying to find a job, I'm talking to young men, there's four young men. For every one young man going to work, there's four young men sitting at home playing video games, jacking off, and have completely left society, basically. So why do you work? Work gives you purpose in life. You can help others. You build connections to others in community. You might find your wife at your work. A lot of people find their wives at their work. You won't die from being vulnerable. This is the next one. A lot of people like to guard their vulnerability. You won't die from being vulnerable. You'll die from being angry. The palm tree bends in the wind. The oak tree, the mighty oak, that falls over easy in these hurricanes down here in Florida. The hurricanes knock those oak trees right down. Palm tree, got these little skinny palm trees out front. They've been through every storm that this state has ever had, and they're fine. Oh, I can't tell you how many trees out back I've lost. The last hurricane we had, I lost, I think, 10 trees. That was miserable. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. People wondered, well, why didn't you buy that muscle car you were talking about in one of those videos? Because I had to fucking pay for tree companies. All you mighty oaks. Here's the next one. Only fools stay angry. There was something that happened that took only 10 minutes. It was only 10 minutes of your life, 10 minutes of hell, and it happened 20 years ago, and you're still angry. Only fools stay angry. Here's what the corporate media is not. Let's go to the next one. The corporate media is not made by the working class, the middle class, and it's not for the working class or middle class. So it's not made and written. The news that you watch online, those podcasts, all the websites that you go to. Maybe you watch ABC, NBC. Maybe you go to, you watch Fox News. Everybody watches that, right? 86 million people. Maybe you watch CNN, MSNBC. You're particularly liberal. None of it. None of it. New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. Name one. Name one. None of it. Which one do you like? That one too. None of it is made by the working class or the middle class, and it's not for the working class or the middle class. It's not for you. You want to know who it's for? Look at the fucking advertisements. That's who it's for. Look at the advertisements. A bunch of drug companies and old people shit, and it's not for you. None of the products that are advertised on the news are for you, because the news isn't fucking for you. You know who the news is for? The news is for your boss. It's by your boss and it's for your boss. It's telling you how to vote and what to think about. It's your boss, a rich motherfucker who lives in a different part of town than you, telling you what to think and who to vote for because he has his corporate interest at hand. The corporate media is not for you. It's for the corporations. The corporate media is not the truth. It's a variation of the truth. Don't be so stupid. This one is kind of towards some of you incels out there. I've been frustrated with you guys, man. Do you want love? What is it that you really want? You want a woman so bad, you have this idea of purity and all this whole idea. What is it that you really want? Do you want a pet? Is that what you really want? You just want a fucking pet? You don't seem to really want a woman. You don't seem to really understand what a fucking woman is. Do you want love? Ask yourself that. Do you know what love is? I'm telling you, man, you don't want love. What you want is pussy. You just want a fuck toy. Because love hurts. Some of you out there are too weak for love. You wish you had love. You're too weak for love. You're too weak. Because love hurts. Anybody out there been in love knows. Love hurts. I would rather a broken arm than a broken heart. Caring is stressful. Anybody who has kids knows that. Oh, you got cell phones now. Back before cell phones were around, if your kid didn't come home, you couldn't just call him. Where are you, little Timmy? Oh, no. Your mind goes crazy. Timmy's been kidnapped. Oh, fuck. You're driving around the neighborhood with your shotgun on your lap. What the fuck happened to my son? Caring is stressful. Love is stressful. Trusting is scary. You got to trust. To trust your woman. There's some scenarios you will have to trust her in. And that's going to be scary as a man. You're going to, everything you've ever thought of as a man is going to be questioned in 2 seconds. Here's the next one. It's not my fault that your heart is broken. I had to level up, with or without you. And take that to the bank, make a deposit with it. Think about that shit for a little bit. It's not my fault that your heart is broken. Your response is not my responsibility. I had to think of myself. I had to. Ask yourself this question. Do your walls protect you, or do they imprison you? I used to ask myself that question when I lived in the projects. We lived in this apartment projects. They put a big fence around it, and I wondered, does that fence protect us? Why do they have a fence? Is the fence protecting us, or is it imprisoning us? Well, I want to go over this one. I don't know, we have time. We have time. It's getting a little long. I want to go over this one. Here's the threes of life. I'll just read this shit real quick. The threes of life. Threes, numerology. Threes of life. You have past, present, and future. These are the threes of life. Faith, hope, and love. Mind, body, and soul. Birth, life, and death. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Sight, sound, and touch. It's all food for thought. Happy Sunday.